Body bags were horror lies.
Hello and welcome to Body Bags. My name is James and I'm your Sunday Night Reviewer. And this evening I'll be finishing up our themed week, which was war horror. So I'll be tackling the 2013 Frankensteins Army. So this is a film by Richard Rafforst, I believe. A guy I don't know much about at all. I don't think he has a particularly large filmography with regards to directing anyway. I think this was the last film that he was, from a directorial point of view, that he was attached to. I think he did a few shorts before. But this is quite an interesting one. This is basically found footage World War II. It's quite unusual. So we follow a group of Russian soldiers. As I said, it's in the Second World War, and they are in Nazi Germany. And basically, they're looking for this professor, this scientist guy, Nazi experimentation doctor sort of thing, trying to create these super soldiers. We've heard this kind of story quite a few times before, but not from found footage in World War II. So it's quite interesting. So they even make a point of showing like the different cameras, that sort of thing. Actually, before I forget, there's quite a nice thing actually which I've just realised that they did. So there's one bit where they're walking through this village and the grass is quite blue, and I think that's a period of the time when cameras, I think it was maybe in the 30s, so maybe creeping into the 40s, where the greens were they punch up the colour, so the greens came across as blue. This is an effect that I really like what Scorsese did in The Aviator. So the decades that film is cut up into is kind of the colorization and the feel of the picture is relevant to the times in that film, and there's a section where the greens came across as very blue, and I realised just realised that this film does it as well, so that's quite a nice little nod to some detail actually. But we are following these Russian soldiers, so they're looking for this Nazi doctor, scientist guy. They're having problems, they can't kind of reconnect with their main unit sort of thing. There's a radio disturbance and all this sort of thing. So they're kind of going along, and they're finding these like this weird body at this one point. It's like a charred corpse, and it's like, it does not look right, the skeleton. There's all these weird skull things, and the shape of it is all wrong, and so it's like, which sort of thing that some bad experimentations going on here. But it's they get there, and they make their way, and they find it, and so they're kind of going around. They're trying to in this compound, and so they're just constantly being attacked, literally by these just loads of different monsters. So this is kind of like Nazi Frankenstein, how this is done. And there's some really kind of weird, quirky and wacky designs. Really interesting how it's done. Yeah, there's like some, I'm trying to think, there's this game, what's it called, Bioshock or something. There's this one monster which kind of reminds me of kind of some of the underwater kind of like mech creatures in that. There's ones which kind of like come down on almost like these like spider kind of spindles sort of thing. There's these ones where it reminded me of like the Wheelers from Return to Oz. They got these really long arms and they're kind of basically walking on all fours. The kind of what it reminds me of. If they had wheels on them, they kind of like look like those things from Return to Oz. But yeah, this is kind of like a really mad one. It's kind of, it would work as a really good game. This definitely, it's kind of more suited to game than film. I think when you pit it in the Second World War, kind of your brain automatically tries to engage and link it to kind of reality. And aspects of this, obviously, it's like a not set in realism sort of thing, and it's like very fantasy, very game based. So you kind of like, you're struggling with a lot of it, like how it is, but it's a really fun film. Right, we kind of get to the Doctor, and he sees like that these aren't actually just like, they're kind of living things. They're like fused, like living things, like fused to machinery and stuff like that, and all weird stuff. And yeah, that's kind of all I'm going to leave it at. So this is like a really, really light. It's kind of not really giving anything away, but I would kind of describe it as playing kind of a game set in the Second World War, where you're this squadron and you have to find this mad scientist, and to get to him you have to get through all his science experiments, which are like Frankenstein, Nazi monsters sorts of thing. That's what your film is. It's a lot of fun. Factually, it's not like steeped in like exactly how things were in that time, but there are nice details. As I said about the starter review, that thing with the colour, because they switch his cameras, they're actually talking about the cameras at the start and like making a point of like trying to explain, because it's, like I said, it's very strange to have found footage set in the 1940s. It's like really, really not done. That's but I had fun with this. Yeah, it's a good film. I think I'm going to keep this one nice and short and sweet actually this evening. You can pick this up dirt cheap. I think the Blu-ray goes for a little bit more money. I don't think this quite as easy to find, maybe. Well, probably easy to find, but the price is a bit high. This you can buy for like a couple of pounds on like Amazon UK. So I highly recommend picking it up. It's a lot of fun. It's not too long. It kind of zips by 81 minutes. So the action is always there, and it's kind of, give it a go. It's got some great creature designs. Okay,